Hello folks, welcome to some Blast from the Past with BoBrew.com. Here is something really spicy for you. On top side of the screen you'll see Blue-Green Madness from the extended era of the mid-2000s. And on the bottom is Mud, basically Carlos Metalworker deck from Legacy. From current times, I think the matchup is sort of balanced. As long as Mod doesn't have a lot of fast mana and can dump quickly some big boom booms and resolve them, things are fine for Madness. Because of Wonder, he can get his whole team evasion, has early threats, has a bunch of counters. Good sideboard, so it's more or less an even matchup, supposed to be at least. Depends on the draws and sequencing, etc., but both decks have chances, that's for sure. And basically I'm doing this because at the time both my standard and modern deck were in pieces, and he didn't want to play against either one of them again. And a friend of mine, who's playing with Madness here this time, has a bunch of old decks or just casual decks that he just likes to play. For example, green-white cats, basically all playable cats throughout Magic. Spiced up with paths and source plowshares and some pumps and etc. You can watch us playing Madness against Psychotug if you click onto the casual playlist and scroll down a bit. You'll see that. That's a very spicy match. I let him start the first game. So forced into Baskin Ritvala. I think in a moment I'll tell him to readjust the positions. Start with a Cloud Post, pretty slow draw. Turn to Wild Mongrel. Not a ton of pressure just yet, but because of this Wild Mongrel, that means he can start to cast Circle Logic for 1 mana and get at least a Force Spike kind of effect. So quickly readjusting life totals here. Basically notice new design of the cards, even though it's a pretty old deck, but almost the entire deck became available in F&M foils, so hence this newer card frame look. But most of the deck is before the new frame was introduced. Vesuva into Cloud Post, so that means the first Cloud Post generated 2, cast a Chalice for 1, that means no more Ritvalas, no Careful Study, things like that, no Unsummon, which I think is actually in his sideboard. He doesn't have Brainstorm in this deck. It's much worse here without Fetchlands. Unlike in Psychotug, which does play Fetchlands and wants actually selection over synergy much more than this Blue-Green Madness deck. Goes to combat. I expect him to pump and perhaps pitch some cards. So he pumps the Ritvala here, I believe, and discards Roar of the Worm and an island to Wild Mongrel. This card in the land here is, I know, pretty silly, but that's how he plays his deck. He just wants to bash face and kick opponent's ass as fast as possible, and he thinks that like he would never need those extra lands, then he's not gonna think a lot about whether to discard them. So he also got Ritvala there, which I'm not sure. I think it should have been countered because of the chalice, so I think we're gonna fix that. Even though he cast it for the madness cost, but the converted mana cost of the spell is still 1. So yeah, he got a pump from Wild Mongrel, but that's about it. Okay, this way his future circle logic is actually pretty good, and I think with no ways to get rid of the chalice main deck, it's the best usage of Bastion Wall in his hands in this game as he could get, I believe. That was a Glimmer Post as my third land. So I have about 7 mana here. And I believe that's I was attempting a Spinefish Ash, but I figured that might be actually not amazing. Last turn he discarded 3 cards for Wild Mongrel and pumped Ritvala. So 5 plus 3, 8. So I should actually be at 11 here. Should be at 11 here. Spine took down a forest, so he can't pump Ritvala, but he drew a forest off the top, like it normally does. Also killing a land here prevents him getting enough mana to flashback Road of the Worm to get a 6/6 token into play. Goes to combat again, pumps Ritvala. So I'm taking here at least 5, unless he discards more cards from his hand, which I think he shouldn't at this point. There is no reason to, because that won't be a lethal attack anyways. Now I got a lot of mana here, but I'm down to, actually, should be at last life. I should be actually at 6 here. Should actually be at 6 here. Attempting Ugin the Spirit Dragon to wipe his board. I need to kill both creatures here, because even though the screen tells you I'm at 9, but I should be at 6, because I missed some damage there. Okay, Ritvala and Wild Mongrel got into exile. Ugin is at 5, because I just went -2 on it. And he actually scoops it out, because even if he gets a land and flashbacks Roar, I could just -0 on Ugin and get rid of the token. So yeah, Ugin is a huge trump in this matchup. But as you can see, if he would have had a counter spell for Ugin here, like a Circle Logic, that would be pretty much it. Don't remember if I could have afforded to play around days, but my friend here with Madness is not really hot on days, so if he's running it in his 75, sometimes they even end up in his sideboard. So there is that. I believe we go into sideboarding here, since we have this kind of a pause here. Sideboarding is pretty straightforward for him. Unsummons, more counter spells, things like that. Naturalize, or anything close to that. I know, I think we actually go for a second pre-boarded game, since he's shuffling pretty damn quickly. Maybe he just sideboarded pretty quickly. Yeah, I think it would have taken me more time to sideboard. So yeah, I think that's a second game before sideboard. We'll see. If I'll see like some ratchet bombs in play, then that definitely means that I sideboarded. I think all I needed to board in this matchup would be like a couple ratchet bombs, all his dusts, and that's mostly it. And take out some clunky win more cards. Wormcall is good, but maybe Blightsteel Colossus is too cute against a deck with a bunch of counters. Platinum Angel is nice because it can block a flyer and also allow me not to lose a game too quickly. He asks for turn 1 careful study into deep analysis. Discarding deep analysis and something else. Can't quite see here. Could be like a Roar of the Worm or something. Turn 2 Wild Mongrel off of Island and give him my cost, so he goes to 19 here. I'm gonna reset the life totals in a moment. So yeah, he's at 19, I'm still at full life. My turn 1 was just a Cloud Post. So now my turn 2. Draw for the turn. Visible Renover Cloud Post accelerates me into something nice. I think I still left Chalice in this matchup, but I think I might have taken out Trinispheres, not on this game, but once we begin sideboarding. Chalice on 2 actually shuts off like also quite a lot of stuff in his deck, but Trinisphere doesn't do a whole lot because he doesn't have that many cheap spells, and it doesn't actually lock him that well. Golem is fine because it's a body. Torrent Vomitist is not efficient enough. It's not like Golem, which can be used to attack or block. The Hound smashes into the red zone. Just for 2, it seems. No discards. No discards. There were times when it was like really silly games which were more or less also balanced with this Madness deck against Mirari's Wake Band's control deck, which won the Worlds 2003. Basically ramp / control deck with toolboxes and just a lot of means to stall and cycle. City Traders and Green Monolith. The land in the middle is Crystal Vein, which sets up 1 colorless, but for sacrifice gives you a couple colorless. I'm not sure, should have done it this way. Well, I didn't have 3 mana other way. I don't know, why would I play a Monolith here? Because playing around double days is not a great thing to do. And Circle Logic was live anyway. I guess like, oh okay, I see. I wanted to have 5, so in case like he didn't have any counters, I could go like Metal Worker, Boots, and do some cool stuff here. So Metal Worker actually ate a normal counter spell, and the Boots ate Daze. Pretty funny. Or not. Okay, so no combo or explosive board dumps just yet. He could restock his hand with a deep analysis setting points. His life total doesn't matter as much as long as he gets enough encounters. And actually, he doesn't have to counter absolutely everything I play. I actually think he didn't have to daze the boots here. I think he would rather try to daze or use another counter or something that goes after the boots, because boots by themselves don't do much. And they need a creature. If it's just some low artifact or I don't know, not some other non-creature, boots still don't do much. Okay, so he's smashing with the Wild Mongrel, Page for Madness, Ritvala for it, and before that he did Flashback Deep Analysis to draw a couple more cards. I don't know exactly what's installed here. Could be that he didn't bounce an island for the days, but I feel like he did. Okay, it could be just me on the break, or considering my plays in the meantime, he was wondering what's the proper definition of the word days, what does that mean exactly in practice in life. And I was trying to explain that to him. It's a great card, it's a very nice artwork. It's a bit silly, but it is funny, and it's just such a great kind of connection between what the card does and the illustration and so on. If I would have had the boots in play, this would have been much better. So took mana from City, then Ancient Tomb, 5 mana. Playing around another days potentially. Plus I wanted to play another land, and I'm in not danger of dying just yet. So Cold Daughter Forge Master, which I think resolved, and it might be that I was thinking what to do up next, or perhaps I was just having some break over here. Even if he pitches Wonder and pumps Ritvala, it's just 6 next turn. Okay, so Coldota actually ended up being countered by a Circle Logic, which would mean that I would have to pay 4 for this Coldota Forge Master, and I couldn't do that. So he's essentially counted 3 of my big spells already. Pretty depressing. But on the other hand, this mud deck has a lot of bastard sequences which won't make him feel great if they do happen. I'm not dead on this attack. He gets to flashback roar if he really wants to. But the problem is that here I have just 5 mana unless I draw some other source. Okay, instead of flashback in Roar pumping Ritvala, he actually goes and menaces out Arrogant Worm with Wild Mongrel. Therefore, I'm taking 4 damage here. Or 5. 3, 4. Ah, he discarded another Roar. Okay. That's why I went down from 13 to just 8. Untapping Monolith to cast like a Nugan in a turn would take 2 damage and I would fall down to 6. And in this case I would probably be dead. Right, so I show him a hand with a couple of chalices, which I could have cast for 0, Spine, which is just too slow, and a Metal Worker, which I would have been able to cast, but it wouldn't do a whole lot here. So yeah, if Coldota would have resolved here, I think I had a very good chance. But he countered pretty much everything that mattered. Well, he didn't have to counter the boots, but he countered 2 key spells there with a good curve out. So on to game 3. It doesn't look like we sideboarded yet, or maybe we did. My memory fades a little bit here. We wanted you to be able to see the cards, and we're limited by the setup. I do find that like playtesting over Skype with friends actually is a decent mean of playing paper Magic with distant friends. A lot of my childhood friends who still live in the country where I grew up, but don't live for quite many years already, do you play the game, and having this Skype match is a very sweet way to kind of stay in touch and have fun at the same time with the favorite game. My turn 1 is an Ancient Tomb into Lightning Greaves, so the boots are on, but I suppose it would have been much better if I would have started with something like a Chalice on 1 to cut off Ritvala's study, etc. Okay, careful study on turn 1 from him here. Into 2 Ritvalas. Kind of a nut draw here. Imagine how ridiculous Chalice would be here. He won't be able like to cast 3 cards, which you just saw. The Lizard might get me, but if he would just keep on pumping one of them every turn, then it would kind of time walk him to allow me to jump something relevant at any turn. But if he would be sitting on Daisies, I would be pretty sad, pretty damn sad. No Force of Wills here because this is an extended version and not legacy version. Though in Legacy that deck was viable for quite some time, but right after Tarmogoyf kicked in, then creatures like White Malt Mongrel became just so pathetic. Though some people still tried to play the deck when there weren't as many ridiculous cards available like Snapcaster and Deathrite Shaman. So if right now somebody would try to play this deck in Legacy even with forces and good sideboard, it will look pretty amazing. Amusing rather. But it definitely would feel great to play like non-sanctioned or DCI-sanctioned event in some pub and then play Legacy with friends and just put your FNM/normal foil deck to good use and just have a nice atmosphere with friends and interesting games. Counterbalance Top is also one package which kinda made Blue-Green Madness not a very great Eternal deck. But you can always just have Crows and Grips in your sideboard to deal with that problem. Basically, the deck was at its prime when you had Survival of the Fittest legal and then Vengevines. Then the deck was really insane. But then Survival got banned and okay, no more ridiculous, but the deck was super sick during that period when you had both Survival and Vengevine for Legacy. It was just so retarded. Okay, so that's a sideboarded game because we see a Wretched Bomb on my side of the board. Not a bad thing to have here to get rid of the lizards. So he's really thinking whether to add something to the board or just pump through it Vala. I suppose that's the challenge for him for this turn. He ends up adding a Wild Mongrel to the board. I kinda like that, because while he would be able to get in for a couple more damage, but this way he extends his board, because Red Wallace will be most likely gone next turn, because I'll charge the bomb at the end of his turn, and then wait, what? Huh? I did not just draw a card for the turn. I hope I did not just do that. Well, it's easy to rewind and play properly because this is what you want to do in such a matchup in this kind of format. Yeah, okay. No, okay. So I did charge it and drew for the turn. Four mana, take 2 from the Ancient Tomb, Metal Worker. which I can suit up with Lightning Greaves. But he might have a counter here, like a Daze. I know, Daze won't cut it here, because I had 4 in pool. But I think I might be running low here with this hand. Perhaps not that many artifacts in hand or nothing insane to play. We'll see in a moment. Okay. I actually had quite a few things going on. So 8 mana for Metalworker, because I think I showed him just 4 artifacts and 1 left over from the lands. So I think he wish he would have a Daze at least in his hand, or like an unsummon for any big boom boom here. Yeah, my draws with these games were pretty cool, but think about it, if I would have ended up being on the draw this game, it would be a different story. Island away because of the spine. Did not use the rest of the mana here. Yeah, here it will be pretty much impossible for him to get back into the game. I destroy one of his lands, and the bomb will wipe away lizards. He does have another land to play, but Metalworker plus Greaves is too much rump. And my hand did feature a bunch of nasty cards. No reason for him to pump any lizard here, because I have a bomb up for 1, which I just immediately use. So Wild Mongrel can get in for some damage here, but not that much. A Wonder would have helped quite a bit here, but he doesn't have an island here. That's the fun part. Some card draw like Deep Analysis and an island and Wonder would have been a decent thing to do, and something like unsummon for a Wurmcoil to deprive me of life gain. Get mana from the city, then play a factory. So I get like quite a bit of mana here. Show 3 artifacts, so 6 from Metalworker plus 2 from the lands. Attempting a Cold Auto Forge Master that prompts a Circle Logic, which actually would be just for free. And the problem is that amount I can pay here, because I just added like 6 from Metalworker and 2 from land, so I still have 3 left, so easily paying for the logic here. So Yivor doesn't have enough of Naturalizes or Frozen Grips in the sideboard, or he's getting really unlucky. Don't remember, I think the extended one just had the Naturalize, while we know that it should be Frozen Grips, but he wants to keep the deck kind of intact to make it like the builds from that era to play against other decks from that era or things like that. Okay, Coldora resolved. I think I dumped something else into play just to eat with Coldora. Okay, I get Blightsteel Colossus, Lightning Greaves still on play, equip, kill. Yeah, I had too much mana thanks to Metal Worker plus the Greaves. To use it same turn, I played it. That was way too much mana. And yeah, Blightstill's gonna kick his ass. But I think the matchup is okay. It's not too ridiculous though. Mud can do some unfair stuff, that's for sure. But Crows and Grapes are amazing here in this matchup. That's for sure. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out the website and articles. Some more stuff would be coming up there soon. Check out the YouTube channel in its integrity. I have loads of different matches out here. You'll be amazed what kind of crazy pairs I ended up showcasing. Follow on Twitch as well. I do plan to stream some modern combo decks there again this week, so watch out for both brew streams this week. Hoping to get a mono gobs as a third deck for modern for Magic Online for streams, because it's funny, but the deck is actually good and it's budget and not much commitment. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.